Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mark. I'm here with Cooper. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, Mark.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Feels like a beautiful episode of Anchorman. You know, you're like, what's up, Ron Burgundy? Today we are talking about the song Whole Heart, the bass, guitar.
Yes.
You played on this song in the studio. How did you approach it? What was the conversation like to get you to this point?
Yeah, I think when we got to the studio and we're working on it, we were thinking organic, we were thinking sort of earthy, and so Mike and I, who played drums on it, we were trying to approach it in that manner, and he was trying different toys on the drum kit, and I brought a few different basses. I actually tracked the verses on a really cool semi-hollow harmony bass that's vintage. It's got a really woody, earthy sound to it, because that sort of felt like the vibe for the verses, and then I did the choruses on my P bass.
Okay. So, like, the overall what you did, the way you approached it, what you just played, people would watch that and go, really? That's all you're doing? Like, you're playing 3 notes. They're so simple. But when you really pull it out, it's mind-blowing how intentional it is and how much the song feels so much more grounded and supported because of it. Like, what's your mental approach and why are you playing it and how are you doing it? I saw you playing with your thumb at different times and finger times.
Yep.
What's the mindset on that?
I think, for the verses, I'm just thinking about being really intentional and being very intense in an understated way, sort of, on the verses. So there are times, and I think, like, when you're performing this live, that's maybe a good approach to have, is, like, thinking about, you know, how intentionally and how, like, maybe not softly, but, like, how can I play dynamically with intensity, because that's a big part about, like, being in the studio, but also being live. Like, having a song feel like it has energy is like setting it apart with the way you're attacking with your right hand. I think as a bass player, you're thinking about that. So, you know, on those verses, I might do something like that in a live situation. And all the notes are, like, really connected.
Yeah.
And I'm just sliding. You know, they're all very connected. When I'm thinking about playing bass, I'm thinking about exactly when I listen to something, like, how exactly did they play it? Because a lot of those intentions are always very intentional.
Yeah. No, you stayed upper register for a good chunk of it.
Most of the
song. It was
song.
only the last chorus that you dropped down to that low octave.
Yep.
What's your mindset in terms of how you set up? Are there any notes that you're going after? Or
Yeah. So, yes, I did stay up basically in this register.
Yep.
Up until that last chorus, because it felt like the last chorus is where the song really releases. There's a nice drum fill that kind of, like, releases into this chorus where we're really saying this beautiful truth. So for me, I waited. There's a low 4 chord that works well in the key that it's in, C sharp. So I just waited until we got to that chorus, and then, you know, there it is, a nice big fat round.
I love that. Like, when you approach a song live, you talk about a low 4. Are there any chords? I think I've heard you say before, like a low 4
and a low 1.
A low 1. So you mentally set up for that because you like the payoff of that?
Yeah, the payoff, totally. I'm thinking there are certain decisions that you can make, especially live. You know, if you're switching keys around or whatever, maybe you tune your bass to a different tuning. Maybe you, like, wait and hold off to, like, play a low 4 chord or a low 1 chord because that feels really good.
I love that. That is so cool. Now, you talked about having it be connected. You talked about the approach of a low 4, a low 1. Talk to me for a minute about the simplicity, because what I saw you do, you didn't bring anything more to the song than maybe what the song needed. I didn't feel like you were imposing an idea on the song. You were, like, serving the song. What's your mindset on that as a bass player? What do you see happen in music a lot? I mean, when you really peel the layers back, it's like, oh, it's really simple. It's really not that complicated, but it's executed flawlessly with great precision and intentionality.
I heard Rick Rubin in an interview once say, like, if you listen, people will tell you everything. I think if you're really listening to the song, it'll kind of tell you everything it needs to tell you to make a decision about, like, what you should be playing. So for me, this was one of those songs where it just really felt like the song was speaking, and felt like I could just sit back and, like, let the song happen and just support what everybody is doing.
Yeah.
And, like, create something with with people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're all making this together, and I get to be a small part of that. So part of the simplicity is like allowing other people to come to the table and not like trying to stake out space for like what I have.
That is so good.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, part of it is like knowing what you have to offer and being comfortable with that.
Yeah. Isn't that true? I think we sometimes feel like we have to justify our presence in a song or a session or a setting or a service at church. Like, I have to really bring my contribution today to justify me being here. And what I'm hearing you say is just bring your best, but even if it doesn't have to be flashy, it might be that what is needed is something simple. Yeah. And you're comfortable enough in your own skin to like, I'm going to play 6-5-4 with great intentionality because that's what the song needs. Yeah. And I'm good with it.
Totally.
I'm not worried about it.
And at the end of the day, if everybody's flashy, what sort of becomes flashy is maybe the opposite of being flash. It's like, if that's what everybody's doing, like maybe there's something to be found somewhere else.
Well, like I think it was verse 2 or verse 3. You played one lick.
Yeah,
and it was like a 5/6 thing.
Yeah.
Like that was it. In terms of bass licks, that's what this song has to speak of. But that's not to say it's like an oversimplified thing. I think it's absolutely brilliant and perfect. Like you look at I know people have talked about the John Mayer trio and what Pino plays and Steve Jordan, that combination. Like, could you really break it down? There's a lot of simplicity to some of these bass parts. And I think it's a good reminder for all of us as musicians.
And it really lets all the other parts speak too in a really cool way. And then you've got a song. Then it's not just like, check out what I'm doing. Then it's like we're all playing a song together, which is what it's about.
For sure. And the energy isn't driven just from one instrument.
Right.
It's everybody doing their part. And like you said, then we're doing it together. And then that's where the magic happens.
I think it really does come from a place of listening to one another. I think there's so many times that we want to come with our expectations into something, and I think if we're able to listen first, that's a really powerful thing in music and in life.
Cooper, Deep Thoughts with Cooper. This is absolutely brilliant. That's so good. Well, thank you everybody for being with us. We would love to have you continue to follow us along on the journey. You know, do all the things that the kids do. What is it? Smash that like button.
Smash that like and subscribe button.
There we go. There we go. It'll be great. You know, we're excited for what God is up to. Thanks for being a part of the journey and for bringing your part and your best. And thank you, Cooper, for being who you are. It's a privilege to know you and get to do music with you. And thanks for sharing with us today. See y'all soon.